Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Very glad you're here. Very good to see you. And thank you very much for tuning in. Welcome to this comfy, quiet, cozy little corner of the internet where we do a little drinking and a little thinking. So come join me if you will. I'd be very honored if you would. And hopefully, we learned something today that we didn't know yesterday. Or in the case of today's episode, hopefully, we feel a little better today than we felt yesterday. So, yeah, I brought the old Earl Grey tonight. Tried, true, trusty. I know maybe it's boring. You say, Dave, you're turning into an old man, but I feel like an old man, and feel like I'm 80 years old. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I've reached a point in my life where I'm okay with being boring. I'm okay with just being content, happy, just calm. You know, I don't need any crazy stuff. I'm done. I just want to drink a nice cup of tea and have a quiet night while reading something relaxing. But hey, you know what? You do you, right? If you want to be wild and crazy and glug down a gallon of margaritas, go for it, right? Now, I have an obligation to point out that it's very bad for your health. You'll probably feel terrible in the morning, and you probably shouldn't do that. But if you want to, I mean, go ahead, right? As long as you're having a good time, and hopefully you learn the lesson, right? uh, anyway, that being said, cheers to you, and Jesus too. Mm. This Earl Grey has lavender in it, okay? So I'm not that boring, and this lavender is delicious. I gotta say, this is pretty good. I'm gonna have another one. That was pretty good. Mm. Lavender Earl Grey, look it up. Mm. Anyway, like I said earlier, hopefully we feel better today than we did yesterday, right? What inspired me to make this episode is just, well, going outside. um, it is, it is tough out there right now. And I look around and I just see people stressed out, whacked out, hopeless, angry, sad, depressed, and not to get too dark, but there's homelessness everywhere, drug epidemic, but not even that. I mean, just living right now, right? I mean, going to work, the cost of food, um, gas. Oh my goodness, the cost of gas, utilities. I mean, everything's just going up. It's just getting hard. It really is. So I just want to say I feel you. I'm right here with you guys. Right? It sucks right now. Filled up my tank the other day. All right, and I drive a Kia. Okay, I don't drive a big old truck, big old honking dually, right, with the big old rear axle or whatever. No, I drive a Kia that gets 36 to 38 miles a gallon on the freeway, and I'm feeling it. All right. So, number one, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm with you. All right, we're in this together. You're not alone. It sucks. So, but I just wanted to share something with you all. Something that kind of inspires me and helps me helps me to keep going. I think you'll like it. I think it's good. Let's see. It's on page 135. There we go. It's a poem written by a man named Frank L. Stanton, who was born February 22nd, 1857, and he died January 7th, 1927. So, really long time ago. Like, wow, the world was completely different. You think about it. Um, Times are tough now, but you think about back then, like, they didn't even have air conditioning. They didn't have cars. They didn't have phones. Did they have phones in 1927? They did. 1857. Not so sure. Leave me a comment below and let me know. But I most houses didn't have electricity back then. I know that for sure. So I guess what I'm trying to say is things were tough back then, and this guy still found the courage and the guts to write this poem. So yeah, just wanted to share it with you all. The title of this poem is called "Keep It Going," and really short, really sweet. So we'll just dive right into it. And yeah, here we go. Keep It Going by Frank L. Stanton. And it reads a little something like this. If you strike a thorn or rose, keep it going. If it hails or if it snows, keep it going. 'Tain't no use to sit and whine when the fish ain't on your line. Bait your hook and keep a trying. Keep it going. When the weather kills your crop, keep it going. Though 'tis work to reach the top, keep it going. S'pose you're out, oh, every dime. Getting broke ain't any crime. Tell the world you're feeling prime. Keep it going. When it looks like all is up, keep it going. Drain the sweetness from the cup. Keep it going. See the wild birds on the wing. Hear the bells that sweetly ring. When you feel like singing, sing. Keep it going. And there you have it. Keep going. Keep pushing. Keep trying. Keep struggling. Keep giving it your all. And actually, that's it's a good message, right? And one of my favorite parts of this poem here. Ain't no use to sit and whine when the fish ain't on your line. Bait your hook and keep a trying. Keep it going, right? Whining and complaining, it's not going to do you any good, right? Put the bait back on the fish hook and throw another line, right? Now I know you might be thinking, well, Dave, why? Why should I? What's the point? What's the deal? Why should I keep struggling? Why should I keep trying? What's the point? I'm tired. It's ridiculous. I can't keep going. And well, I'm glad you brought that up, Mr. or Mrs. Imaginary Internet Person, because I came prepared for you. I want to share with you a few stories of people who did keep going, who did keep trying, and they made it, right? And that's the thing, I don't consider myself a success by any means whatsoever, just to my own personal goals. But here's the thing, all right? Here's the thing. Here's the way I look at it. If you give up, you'll never get there. If you try, you might get there, right? It's the same thing with hard work. If you don't work hard, you're not going to be successful. But if you don't work at all, you won't, right? You won't. So, I'll take the chance, right? Even if it's just 1%. 1% chance. What if it's less than 1%? What if it's a 0.5% chance that I'm going to succeed at my goals? I'll still take that over 0, yeah? It's better than 0. So I'm going to work hard. And these people worked hard too. So I want to share this with you. These are inspiring. And I really hope they inspire you to keep it going. Little short blurbs. I'll link in the comments below. They're full stories or whatever. I pulled these from several random internet sources. So, like I said, I'll just link it below. But yeah, I hope these really inspire you. So, the first one I want to start with is Michael Jordan, famous basketball player. Let's see. Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team, a heartbreaking experience for any teenager. Then, he became one of the greatest basketball players in the history of the game. He is the author of one of my favorite quotes about failure, one proudly displayed on the failure wall at my company. I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. On 26 occasions, I have been entrusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. He is the author of a lesser-known quote that is equally powerful. Obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it. And yeah, wow, very, very powerful. Michael Jordan, cut from his high school basketball team. And that's a good quote. Obstacles don't have to stop you. And we all know Michael Jordan now, yeah? The guy didn't give up. Moving on. The next one, J.K. Rowling. Rowling had her first Harry Potter novel rejected 12 times and was told, quote, not to quit her day job. Her latest novels, anonymously penned, continue to get rejection letters. She proudly posted those letters on Twitter. And for good reason. Rowling is in great company. Many successful writers rightfully consider their early rejections to be badges of honor. Stephen King's first book, Carrie, accumulated at least 30 rejection slips before it was accepted by Doubleday. Legend has it that Jack London's first story was rejected 600 times before finally being published. So there you go. Her novel, J.K. Rowling's novel, Harry Potter, all right, the Harry Potter, was rejected 12 times, right? You gotta feel bad for the publishers, right? Well, maybe not, but you see what I'm saying. Like, that was a missed opportunity there. But she kept trying. She kept going. And now, I mean, heck, I have Harry Potter books. I read them to my kid. And, they're fun. They're good. And she did it, right? Let's see. Moving on. Walt Disney. Disney was fired as a young man from his newspaper job for a lack of good ideas. Then he started his first animation company in 1921, but that quickly went bankrupt. He ended up eating dog food, literally, to survive. If you were subsisting on dog food because of the failure of your first animation company, would you start another animation company? Probably not, but that's exactly what Walt Disney did. In fact, he had to restart several more times after that before finally becoming successful. There you go. Walt Disney had to eat dog food and lost an animation company, right? Guy failed a couple times, several times, before he became Walt freaking Disney, right? But if he had given up, if he had stopped working so hard, if he just went back and got a day job, he wouldn't have gotten to where he was, right? Next one, Henry Ford. Ford left his long-term, comfortable job in 1889 to establish the Detroit Automobile Company with $150,000 of investor money. A little over a year later, it went bankrupt. Somehow, his investors still had faith in Ford and invested in the Henry Ford Company in 1901. But this company went bankrupt as well. Having lost all your investors' money twice, would you try a third time? Ford did, establishing the Ford Motor Company in 1903. 5 years later, the company became a success with the release of the Model T and the invention of the assembly line. Henry Ford kept going, didn't quit. Failed a company, started again. Failed another company, started again. Beginning to notice a pattern here? How about the Beatles? The Beatles. The Beatles were turned down by almost every record label despite some local success playing cover songs in United Kingdom bars and clubs. In one infamous rejection, an executive at Decca Records declined to sign them because, quote, guitar groups are on the way out, and, quote, the Beatles have no future in show business. Ouch. How'd you like to be that executive? The guy that turned down the Beatles. Of course, that rejection is now considered one of the biggest mistakes in music history, and hopefully that executive learned from her epic failure. Keep this in mind the next time you are rejected. It may well be that you haven't failed at all, or take the alternative message to heart. It turns out that 2 years after Decca rejected the Beatles, George Harrison returned to the label to offer a tip: sign the Rolling Stones. This time around, Decca learned from its failure and had a success of its own. Yeah, I mean, Decca learned from their failure, right? I mean, think about it. The executive that rejected them seemed like they learned their lesson, right? Hey, we rejected these people and they became amazing, right? So maybe we shouldn't be so harsh on people or assume things, right? It goes both ways. Colonel Sanders, right? KFC, anyone? Colonel Harlan Sanders was the late founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurants. Throughout his entire life, he failed in just about every endeavor he was involved in. However, at the age of 65 years old, he set out with his famous chicken recipe and only 105 Social Security check to his name in an attempt to sell his franchise chicken model. 1,009 restaurants rejected him before one accepted his offer. If you had a famous recipe, would you be able to stand getting rejected by over 1,000 restaurants? I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I would be able to. 100? I think I could do 100. After 100, I don't know if I could keep going. So, major props to Colonel Sanders for keep it going, right? Keep it on. Robert Kiyosaki, the finance guy, right? Robert T. Kiyosaki is best known for penning the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, but that didn't happen until he was 50 years old. Prior to that, Kiyosaki endured massive amounts of failure. At the age of 30 years old, his first company went bankrupt. His next company, 3 years later, also went bankrupt. However, Kiyosaki never gave up. He kept trying until he succeeded. Robert Kiyosaki, I have his book. Actually, I have several of his books. And amazing story. If you haven't read his story or have any of his books, I highly recommend them. They're great. Guy went through a lot. And the funny thing is, his whole book's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. His rich dad taught him about money, taught him about finance. So this guy already, knew about this stuff. He had a leg up on most of the kids. And he still failed, right? Even having that leg up, it still took him until he was, 40? Late 30s? He says in the book, but he didn't achieve success until he was well into his ages. And even with the knowledge and, like I said, the leg up that he had from his rich dad, still took him a long time to get there. So, just want to point that out. Like, even if you're smart, even if you're talented, that's not a guaranteed immediate recipe for success. You still got to work hard, and you still got to keep going. Okay, a couple more. Soichiro Honda, going over to Japan, right? Soichiro Honda, the late founder of the Honda Motor Company, dealt with an enormous amount of failure. In 1937, at the time of the Great Depression, Honda founded a company in an attempt to create piston rings for Toyota. He failed, having to pawn his wife's wedding ring just to stay afloat. His first factory was bombed during World War II. The second factory was destroyed a short time after by an earthquake. But he didn't give up. Nope, he didn't give up, and I have a Honda. It's not my daily driver, but it was one of my first cars. It was affordable, it was reliable. I mean, that's what a young guy right out of high school needs. And so thank you, Mr. Honda. Thank you for not giving up. I'm sure all of you out there right now that drive Hondas, the quality, the craftsmanship, the gas mileage, especially nowadays, we all appreciate that very much. So, hey, we owe it to Mr. Honda, who had to pawn his wife's wedding ring to keep going, to get money, lost his first factory in World War II, lost the second one, by an earthquake, but he kept going. Let's see, two more. Sylvester Stallone. This is another one I really like. This one inspired me a lot. Stallone's young adult life was incredibly tough. At one point, he was homeless for 3 weeks, living in the New Jersey Port Authority bus station. He was also so broke that while writing the script for Rocky, his electricity was turned off, and he was forced to sell his dog for $25 just to turn the lights back on. He was also rejected by talent scouts over 1,500 times. 1,500 times. That's a lot. Just like Colonel Sanders got rejected over 1,000 restaurants, right? How many of you would get rejected over 1,000 times by talent scouts? Once again, I don't think I could do that. Over 1,000 rejections. That's a lot. But he kept going. I mean, he had to sell his dog to keep the lights on. That's terrible. It's tragic. But look at where he is now. He didn't give up. He wasn't willing to give up. He kept going. He kept pushing. And now, I mean, heck, we all watch his movies, right? Rambo, Rocky. Guy's a success. And, but once again, he wouldn't have been had he given up. Last one, classic, Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison is by far one of the most famous inventors in history. He holds 1,093 patents to his name. However, when attempting to invent a commercially viable electric light bulb, he failed over 10,000 times. When asked by a reporter how it felt to fail so many times, he merely stated, "I have not failed 10,000 times. I have not failed once. I have succeeded in proving that those 10,000 ways will not work. When I have eliminated the ways that will not work, I will find the way that will work." And there you go. Look at that attitude. That is just amazing, right? You know? 10,000 failures, 10,000 busted light bulbs, I'm assuming. Guy didn't give up. The guy kept trying. And he didn't fail once. Why? Because every single failure was just a step. The next step into success. And that's really the way you got to look at things, right? You're one step closer to reaching your goals. And, like my life, right? I fail all the time. Every day, it seems like some kind of failure. And, I take that as a teaching moment. Not only for myself, but for others, right? If people run into the same situation, I try and share these things with them. We got to help each other out, right? If I fail, I don't want you to fail where I failed, right? So we can use my failure to learn. So this is good. Thomas Edison, 10,000 failures. Wow. Man. So anyway, to sum it all up, don't give up. Keep going. Keep trying. Keep struggling. It's not fun, all right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's good. I mean, all of these people that I just read, you think they enjoyed what they were doing, that they liked going through those situations? I'm sure a lot of them probably cried. I'm sure a lot of them probably got depressed and wondered, what the heck they were doing and had doubts and anger and sadness and all the things that come with that. But despite all that, they kept pushing. And they made it. They did it. And I want to encourage you. Keep going. Keep pushing. Because you can do it. And I know these people are kind of outliers, I guess you could say. They're outliers, right? You're going to say, hey, Dave, these people are outliers, right? I'm not going to be Michael Jordan. I'm not going to be Thomas Edison, right? You know what? Maybe. I believe that maybe you could be Thomas Edison or Michael Jordan or J.K. Rowling. I think it's possible, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you can't. But let's be real. I'm going to be real. It's going to be hard. The odds are against you. And is it likely? Probably not. Possible. But not likely, all right? Just giving it to you straight here, okay? But with that said, let me put it to you this way. If you shoot for the stars, but you hit the moon, haven't you gone somewhere? I mean, think about it. Maybe you're not going to be one of these shining stars, these millionaires, these famous people. Maybe you're not going to be that. But you could still be successful, right? If you shoot for the stars and you hit the moon, you've gone somewhere. You're farther than where you were, right? You could reach your own personal goals, right? I'm not trying to be a billionaire. I'm just trying to make a difference in my community. I'm just trying to make a few people smile and make their day. And if I can do that, I'll be happy, right? Maybe your goals are bigger than that. Maybe you want to start a big company. Maybe it won't be $1 billion company, but maybe it'll be $1 million company. Or heck, maybe you just want to sell stuff out of your home in a little online store, selling whatever. That's fine. That's something. But why not shoot for the stars? Why not try? See where you can go. See how far it'll take you. And maybe you'll land somewhere awesome. And you can look back with pride and happiness, and you can say, despite everything, despite all the pain and the struggle, I did something, and it mattered. You could say that. And I believe in you. I know you could do that. Whatever it is, whatever you want to do, I believe in you. I know you could do it. But you got to keep going. You got to keep trying. And I know it's hard right now, but you can't quit. So anyway, I suppose that's enough sappiness for now. I really hope you got something out of that, a little inspiration or something. Like I said earlier, even if I just make your day or, help you to smile or feel a little better, I'll consider that a job well done. So anyway, not much more to say than that. So I'll leave it there. But I really hope you have a good weekend. I hope you have an excellent week. Yeah, I wish good things for you, whatever it is, whatever dreams you have, whatever you're working on. If you're struggling, you're having a hard time, my heart goes out to you. I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers. I'm a firm believer that we are in this together, so please don't try to go it alone. A lot of these people, they did go it alone, and they made it, but let's be honest. Humans are social creatures, and we're stronger together, right? If these people had a little help, maybe they wouldn't have struggled so much. Like the Beatles executive. If she had believed in them a little bit more, maybe had a little more compassion in her heart, things might have been a little different, right? We might have gotten the Beatles, I don't know, a year earlier, or whatever. You know what I mean. We gotta help each other out, so. Yeah, like I said, if you're struggling, please, keep going. It's gonna be okay. Maybe not in the way that you imagined it, but I believe it's gonna be okay. And if you're doing awesome, things are great, things are wonderful, that's great too. I'm glad for you. But remember those little people, and I would encourage you to help them out, because helping them out might help you out too. Maybe they'll give you a hand later in life when you need it, or maybe they won't. Who knows? But I mean, why would you deny yourself that opportunity? And heck, why wouldn't you anyway? I mean, it's gonna make you feel good. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna do a good deed. You're gonna be a good person. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? Who doesn't want that? All right, I know. I said enough sappiness. I can't help myself. I'm just a sappy guy. I'm a sappy old man who drinks tea. What do you want? Yeah. Have a good weekend, everyone. Have a good week. I think that's about it. Take care, everyone. Good night.